and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas Kallakurichi. The first day, first show of the 18th Lok Sabha witnessed a stormy start, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi reminding the Congress party of the emergency period a day before its 50th anniversary. Prime Minister referred to the emergency as a dark spot in Indian democracy. He said that the new generation will not forget how the Constitution was scrapped and how the country was turned into a jail during emergency.
25 जून न भूलने वाला दिवस है। कल 25 जून को भारत के लोकतंत्र में जो काला धब्बा लगा था, उसके 50 वर्ष हो रहे हैं। भारत की नई पीढ़ी इस बात को कभी नहीं भूलेगी कि भारत के संविधान को पूरी तरह नकार दिया गया था। देशवासी संकल्प लेंगे कि भारत में फिर कभी कोई ऐसी हिम्मत नहीं करेगा जो 50 साल पहले की गई थी और लोकतंत्र पे काला धब्बा लगा दिया गया था।
Opposition has hit back at the Prime Minister, with Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge saying that while Prime Minister keeps sending reminders on 50-year-old emergency, there was an undeclared emergency under him for the last 10 years. The BJP, meanwhile, is planning to hold programs across the country tomorrow to highlight the events which took place during the emergency period.
देखो 100 बार यही बात बोलेंगे और इमरजेंसी के 50 साल हो रहे बोले तो तुम इमरजेंसी से विदाउट डिक्लेयरिंग इमरजेंसी यू आर डूइंग इट। इसीलिए हर बार वही बात बोल के आप कितने दिन ऐसा ही अपनी हुकूमत करना चाहते हैं।
We are living in an emergency even now. What are they talking about? All these dramabazi we are not interested in. We have seen these dramas before also. Public have understood, that's why they've got the results they have.
प्रधानमंत्री ने इमरजेंसी के दौर तो याद दिलाया जो उन्होंने पिछले 3 टर्म में एटलीस्ट 3000 बार याद दिलाया होगा जनता को, पर जो एजुकेशन इमरजेंसी देश में लगी है, क्योंकि युवाओं से खासकर कह रहे हैं, आप याद रखिएगा, युवा आपसे पूछ रहे हैं कि जो देश में एजुकेशन इमरजेंसी लगी है, जहां पे एग्जाम रद्द हो रहे हैं, पेपर लीक हो रहे हैं, सीबीआई की इंक्वायरी चल रही है और आपसे और आपके एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर से कोई अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं ली जा रही है, ये कहां तक सही है?
Opposition leaders also raised the Save Constitution pitch in a show of unity. India bloc MPs gathered inside the Parliament complex at the spot where Mahatma Gandhi's statue stood earlier. They held copies of the Constitution in their hand and raised Samvidhan Bachao slogans. And when the Prime Minister and other senior ministers walked in to take oath inside the House, opposition leaders, including Rahul Gandhi and others, flashed copies of the Constitution, holding it high in the House. Now, they have alleged that the Constitution has been under attack for the last 10 years and vowed to protect it with all their might. The BJP's hit back, saying that those who destroyed the Constitution and imposed emergency are today running around with the Constitution in hand.
जो आक्रमण प्रधानमंत्री जी अमित शाह जी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पर, संविधान पे कर रहे हैं, वो हमारे लिए एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, वो हम होने नहीं देंगे। इसीलिए हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ओथ लेते हुए हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पकड़ा था।
I don't understand why this kind of gimmick they're doing. I mean, who is not following the constitution and how can anybody not do it? I mean, least of all my prime minister. I mean, ask them what they have done to our constitution, what they did using the wrong clause of the constitution, imposing emergency in our country, and now they are concerned and worried about democracy. What they did in 75 was democracy.
And that's not it, viewers. Politics over Pro-tem speaker also escalated as BJP's Bhartrihari Mahtab took oath to the post. Congress and India bloc leaders have once again alleged that the 8-term Congress MP K. Suresh's claim to the post was ignored by the government because of his Dalit status. The showdown escalated after the president appointed a 5-member panel of senior MPs to assist Mahtab in administering oath to MPs. While 2 BJP MPs took oath, the 3 India bloc MPs in the panel skipped the oath, signaling their intent to not assist the pro-tem speaker in protest.
I am the senior most MP in 18th Lok Sabha. I only completed 8th term. So as far as the convention is concerned in Lok Sabha, who are the most senior, he will be the pro-tem speaker. But unfortunately, BJP government is broken the convention of Lok Sabha.
हमारे मांग है कि देश का संविधान को रक्षा करना। कभी सेकुलरिज्म संविधान में रहे कि ना रहे हम लोग नहीं पता है। हमारे भारत बांग्लादेश में एग्रीमेंट होते हैं, वो पश्चिम बंगाल के सरकार को बुलाते नहीं, एक तरफा सब कुछ कर लेते हैं। तो हम लोग चाहते हैं कि देश का संविधान की भीत मजबूती से रहे, इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us live at the moment, we have with us Shehzad Poonawala, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Here in our studios, Pattabhiram Komareddy, National Spokesperson of TDP, is with us. Ishwaran Bhandari, Advocate, joins us. We also have Tehseen Poonawala, Political Analyst. Raju P. Nair is Spokesperson of the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee. But I want to go first and foremost to National Spokesperson of Samajwadi Party, Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the government is attacking the Constitution, has been the refrain today that we've heard coming in from various opposition leaders, including Mr. Rahul Gandhi. What is the exact point and the exact reason for saying this? Is it merely the pro-tem speaker's election? Is there more?
Good evening, Madhav, to you, the viewers, and my fellow co-panelists. Let me start by congratulating the entire nation that the 18th Lok Sabha has commenced. The mandate of the people is visible in the parliament. And I also congratulate the members of parliament who took oath. As far as the state of democracy is concerned, today is a testimony that the dangerous designs and dreams of dictatorship that Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah had are permanently shattered when Constitution was flashed at them as they entered the parliament. The reason this was important is if you look at last 10 years, 3 facts stand the testimony of last 10 years. That 147 members of parliament were suspended and bills were passed. That in the Rajya Sabha, the vote division motion was not allowed, and the black laws of against farmers were passed. That in the last 10 years, one may imagine that Dr. Manmohan Singh would have spoken the least in the parliament in his times as Prime Minister, but it is this Prime Minister who on an average has spoken 3 times a year. 3 times a year. He can give 6 election rallies in a day, wearing 6 different dresses, but he spoke in parliament on an average 3 times a year. That the parliament met for less number of days than the number of Sundays in the last 10 years. That more ordinances were passed. The select committee of the parliament, which is the voice and will and the intelligence of people of India, was not used.
Okay.
That electoral bond was allowed to function when the entire country opposed. There are umpteen number of occasions where this government has said or demonstrated that they are dictators with that represent the interest of.
You're calling them dictators. They are citing the emergency. Let me quickly bring in Shehzad on this. Shehzad, he has cited a number of examples, which the opposition has, of course, in the past said, but they say that all of this shows that it was not functioning, and the parliament at least was not functioning in a democratic manner as per constitutional norms. Please respond to Ghanshyam.
You know, rather than rant about 10 years on which 3 verdicts have come as far as the electoral process is concerned, I want to only draw your attention in the last 1 week what has happened. The High Court of West Bengal has come heavily on the post-poll violence that has taken place under the watch of Mamata Banerjee and gone to the extent of saying that if the state cannot curb this, we will be constrained to put central forces there for the next 5 years. There has been pin drop silence by the sanctimonious panelists on this show. 58 Dalit lives have been lost in Kallakurichi over a scandal which has the involvement of the DMK India Alliance government. There has been pin drop silence by the sanctimonious panelists here. The tribal woman in Telangana has been tortured for a week where Mirchi has been put in her genitals, in her eyes, but there has been silence by the sanctimonious panelists here. Cases have been booked for speaking out to power in Karnataka and in West Bengal and in Telangana, but there has been a sanctimonious silence by the preacher in chief of the panelists here in this show tonight. And the LOP, who has not been decided yet, those who are saying that Dalits have been done unfairly by not being appointed as the pro-tem speaker, which is a temporary post, although parliamentary conventions were followed, I asked them, why don't you appoint a Dalit to be the LOP? This is the doublespeak of this entire lot. But having said that, forget about dreams of dictatorship. I want to congratulate the Samajwadi Party, because even though I have differences with them, 50 years ago, It was Mulayam Singh Yadav who spent 19 months in jail fighting the real emergency of Indira Gandhi. Perhaps I would like to congratulate him and all the stalwarts, including JP, including Lal Krishna Advani and others who fought against that real emergency. But perhaps lessons from that have still not been learned by Samajwadi Party, and yet they continue to support a party that actually imposed emergency.
Ganjam, memory is short. Have you forgotten what happened 50 years ago? Direct question from Shehzad, and then I go across to others.
You ask them about 1 week and they'll go back 50 years. In 1 week,
you went 10 years back.
They have, please allow me to.
You went 10 years back.
Okay. You asked the question. Let's get his response. Yeah.
In 1 week, this government has lost the moral and administrative ability to conduct exams in India.
Right.
They have stood by with people who stand against the future of Indian youth, the Indian meritorious students who write exams. They are a blot right now in the name of.
Can you for a change take a stand on the 58 Dalit case? Can you for a change take a stand on the tribal woman being assaulted in Telangana? No, let's stop the preaching and let's start the answering. They are in government in Telangana, they are in government in Tamil Nadu, they are in government in Karnataka, they are in government in Bengal. They ought to answer.
One second.
Answer the question. Answer Bengal. Answer Telangana.
First
answer
emergency.
Karnataka. Answer Tamil Nadu.
Shehzad,
stop your preaching.
Shehzad, 1 second.
Stop your
No. Let's not have this cross debate. It will be counterproductive.
Let's
not have this. 1 second. No, Shehzad, no. That's
answers,
not fair. No. You can respond to him. Let him make his point. But please respond to the specifics asked, Ganjam. You are not responding to the specifics.
I'll respond. What is most important to the citizens of India watching this debate is that do questions get asked on behalf of citizens of India, on behalf of students to this government? Do questions get asked on behalf of small investors on the exit poll scam? These two questions get asked on the Chandalo Dhandalo model where BJP generated 13,000 crores. These are issues of our importance, of national importance, and if Shehzad or his party has questions that they want to raise in the parliament, the important thing for citizens to know is
he asked you a direct question on emergency 50 years. You have not responded on that point. 1 second. Please allow me to conduct the debate, Shehzad. Please allow me. Ganjam, simple question on emergency 50 years. You have not answered that question. He asked you a number of questions on governance in other states. You have not answered.
What is the question?
He has asked you a simple question as to how you have forgotten the emergency which took place 50 years ago, which your own party's founder, Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, was behind bars for. Have you forgotten that?
We have routed BJP in Uttar Pradesh in this election, saying that the lessons of emergency should not be repeated. No one should feel that they have the right to emerge as dictator by calling "Ab ki baar 400 baar Samvidhan badal denge." The lessons of Uttar Pradesh are there. By the way, in Uttar Pradesh, this party BJP, the fake Ram Bhakt party, today has to face the consequence when the temple has started leaking, and the chief priest is talking about how the temple is leaking. This party is the lesson for the modern generation, for the new generation on emergency from 50 years back.
All right.
They have without it in Uttar Pradesh is the lesson.
Okay. Shehzad, quickly, then I go across to other panelists. Yes.
Madhav, he's talking about investors, but he's not spoken about 58 Dalit lives from Tamil Nadu. He's talking about other issues, trying to divert and score political points against BJP, but not spoken about the tribal who has been kept as bonded labor for 1 week in Telangana. Eyes were put Mirchi in. He's not spoken about the atrocities of people in West Bengal. This is Ghanshyam Tiwari. Look at his face, look at his cowardice, and take up opinion. He can't take a stand on Dalits. Comments. He can't take a stand on tribals.
No personal comments.
Asking Dalits and tribals to take a stand on the lives of tribals and Dalits. Is it hypocritical? Don't they say PDA?
No, that's fine. You can question them. You can question them, but don't add no adjectives on panelists.
Take a stand on the tribals. Take a stand on the weakest of people being harassed in West Bengal. Take a stand.
One sentence.
Take a stand. Stop your moralizing.
The man who writes article on calling a elected Prime Minister Desi Hitler.
This is nonsense, Madhav.
The man who writes articles calling Prime Minister
Ganjam, it has nothing to do with what I'm asking.
Modi ji has
this man.
One second. Okay, let me come in now. Tehseen, let me bring in Tehseen. Tehseen, simple question.
He's a coward.
Simple. 1 second. No.
Shehzad, no. Party is a coward.
Shehzad, no personal comments. No, I don't allow any personal comments. I'm going to silence all faders now. No adjectives, no action at all. No adjectives will be used against any panelist, Shehzad, and I'm telling you, if you do this once more, I'm not going to allow you on this debate. No, Tehseen, simple question for you. At the end of the day, there are some serious questions that are being put forth by even the ruling party. All sides perhaps need to be questioned. But the question at the end of the day is that the constitution was changed 25 times during 66 to 77, a period of 11 years. The amendments during the Modi government of 10 years has been 8 times. And this is what the BJP is saying, that there's a drastic difference. You're talking about the other side changing the constitution or tampering with it, but look at your own track record.
Madhav, thank you so much for having me, and assure the onset congratulations to all our fellow citizens on the commencement of the new parliament session, or new parliament, like the 18th parliament, and also congratulations to all the MPs who have been elected to serve the people. There are 2 or 3 points I want to come to a specific question before I want to raise, which I think has been deliberately left out because the BJP is fantastic in diverting issues. Look, the fact is the BJP is an anti-Dalit party. If for any reason, first of all, K. Suresh ji should have been the pro-tem speaker because he's been elected most number of times. The explanation by the BJP that it's not consecutive has never stood any convention whatsoever. Now I agree on the legality, but I'm speaking on the convention. But even if they're speaking about convention, the BJP had MP Ramesh ji in their ranks, who's a Dalit, who had also been elected 7 times. Why was he not made pro-tem speaker? Because the BJP is anti-Dalit. Now let me come to the second part of this. Continuously, apart from breaking convention in parliament, the BJP wants to crush the voice of the opposition. This is the reason why they've been so aggressive against the opposition. Look, the fact of the matter is that in the last parliament session, the last parliament house, the opposition was not allowed to speak. The camera would not be put on them. Every time the opposition would raise a point or would protest, the camera would be taken off.
Let's go one by one.
These are tactics the BJP indulged in.
Okay.
Today we have a opposition.
Yeah. Let me just come in on this pro-tem speaker point, Tehseen, because I think it's a very important point. What is the convention? Let me bring in Ishkaran Bhandari on that. Ishkaran Bhandari, the convention is to elect the member who has the maximum number of terms. In this case, it is K. Suresh with 8 terms, and therefore it's a violation. This is what opposition parties, including the Congress and others, are repeatedly saying. I want you to respond to that point. Ishkaran.
Firstly, we have to be clear there is a distinction between law and convention. Secondly, even in the convention, it is whether somebody has continuous terms or not. Third aspect is if you want to stall parliament, you can do for anything, but pro-tem speaker, what does the pro-tem speaker do? You have to only come in, swear your oath and go back as a member of parliament. Because when we are talking about constitution and its conventions, Congress talking about is like "Saw chuhe kha ke billi haj ko chali." And why do I say this? Because the very first amendment they wanted to bring in was to restrict the right to speech, when on the right it was the organizer, on the left it was communist. Why only that? The first time a communist government, this is not about BJP or right or nationalist or anything, the first time a communist government got formed in this country, in the state of Kerala, the Congress dismissed it, imposed Article 356 on it. Was that following the constitution? Forget that. They did not introduce constitutional amendments in the constitution. They used constitution as a private journal. How did 35A come to be a part of the constitution? Which amendment was carried out to bring that into the constitution? Forget that. Why did the Supreme Court, who was facing the threat, who was posing the threat to constitution, why did Supreme Court have to evolve a doctrine of basic structure? Because Congress daily on whims and fancies, because they had super majority, was altering constitution out of shape. That is why in this nation we had a basic structure doctrine that beyond this point you cannot alter the constitution, because Congress was hell-bent on destroying it. Supreme Court saved it by that doctrine. Why that? Why did collegium system come into this country? Because we talk about institutional capture. Because we all know how judges were getting appointed. The judiciary, to save its independence at that time in that situation, and they are very famous Congress law ministers, how they were appointing judges, had to evolve a collegium system. So if you see, from day one till now, and I'm not talking about emergency, I'm talking beyond emergency, all these things were done beyond emergency. I'm not talking about including secular and socialist in the constitution, which incidentally Dr. B.R. Ambedkar specifically rejected while it was being drafted. I will not answer on the secular, we know that. Even on socialist, he said, how can I tell future prime ministers or future politicians what economic policy they should have? Is socialism the only economic policy? So, the threat to constitution has come from Congress. Yes, they were able to do some propaganda at limited success by saying constitution under threat, which is a communication problem for BJP to address. But factually, the damage and the danger to constitution has always come from Congress.
Right. I want Tehseen to respond to this because Tehseen Ishkaran has very clearly articulated what he says is even going beyond the emergency, there are several examples of the Congress has done over the past several decades when it comes to our constitution. Mutilating out of shape or something is the word and the expression that he used. Please respond to that.
Ishkaran is one of the best lawyers we have in the country. If I'm ever in trouble, I want Ishkaran to represent me. But even here, Ishkaran, while he successfully diverted a topic, did not ask the basic questions. The Honorable President of India gets her power from Article 95, one of the Constitution of India, to appoint a pro-tem speaker. Why was K. Suresh not appointed when he's the highest serving? You going to convention, show me another convention where somebody who's the highest serving, highest elected MP is not been elected because it's not been consecutive. You didn't have it. When you had a Dalit MP, you did not give him the opportunity. You gave somebody else. That shows you're anti-Dalit. Now let's come to the second point. Yes, the Congress was bad. The Congress was terrible. Not just emergency. The Congress did a lot of things that were bad. In 2014 came a gentleman called Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He promised to make a new India. In New India, the Vice President of India and the Chairperson of Rajya Sabha says this, that the basic structure of the Constitution is something we need to debate. Justice Gogoi, who's now in Parliament courtesy the BJP, is criticizing the Keshananda Bharti judgment and the basic structure of the Constitution. The same basic structure of the Constitution that Ishkaran Bhandari is defending right now out here. The Vice President and Chairperson of Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha says, oh, Parliament is supreme, not courts. No, the Constitution of India is supreme. Who's today attempting to destroy the Constitution is the question. What the Congress did or did not do wrong, they've been punished for it. Today it is the BJP who's attempting to do that. One last point.
I'm going to come. Let Ishkaran just respond this. You can come. You can come in. I want Ishkaran on the. I want you. Yeah.
Please, Madhav, I urge Ishkaran. Please give me 20 seconds. Just 20 seconds. Ishkaran, I beg of you. Just 20 seconds. Just 20 seconds. Ishkaran ji, just 20 seconds. Trust me on this. Please give me 20 seconds, Ishkaran.
One by one.
Give me 20 seconds.
Shehzad, just one by one. One by one. There are two panelists who have not even yet spoken.
Tehseen's taken my name. I need to answer this.
Yeah. Okay. Both of you. I will give both of you a turn. Let him go first. You can respond after that, Shehzad. Yeah.
See, since we are debating constitution under threat, that is the entire topic since last few months, it is very easy to sweep Congress did all these bad things under the rug and say that BJP is doing this. Let's read it fact by fact. Basic structure, why did it need to come? Because Congress was altering the constitution out of shape. That is why the Supreme Court had said constitution has a heart and soul. Otherwise, you wouldn't even have had this debate on constitution the way Congress was going. Second aspect, supersession of judges. Forget emergency. A judge is not giving a favorable judgment. You make the new person a chief justice, superseding judges. Who was doing that? Congress. And when we are saying that vice president is speaking on basic structure, why vice president? So many lawyers, so many jurists, so many former Supreme Court judges believe basic structure doctrine is not the best doctrine. Certain others believe it's the best doctrine. But the test was the need of the doctrine in 1970s because of the actions and the danger to constitution from Congress.
Okay. Shehzad.
Just 30 seconds. Tehseen Poonawala, and please don't interrupt me. You said that K. Suresh should be made the pro-tem speaker because he has the maximum number of tenures, even though they are interrupted. And where was this precedent not followed before? Menka Gandhi in the last parliament, by the way, had 8 terms. But because she was interrupted in the middle, it was Mr. Virinder Khatik who was made. This convention has been followed all the time, but only party that has not followed this convention is in 2004 when Mr. George Fernandes, who had 9 terms, was skipped for an 8-term MP, Mr. V.K. Patil. In 2005 in Jharkhand when Mr. Balmuchu was made rather than the senior most. In 1979 when Mr. D.N. Tiwari was made. In 1956 when Mr. Sardar Hukum Singh was made, he was not the senior most. And Tehseen Poonawala, do you know one more thing? Here is the Indian Express quoting Kapil Sibbal's argument before Justice Bobde. When Justice Bobde tells Mr. Kapil Sibbal that, sir, in the case of Mr. V.K. Patil, he was not the senior most. An MP from Rajasthan was the senior most. Why did you make V.K. Patil? Kapil Sibbal says, oh, because he did not have a history like Bopaiah, because this was a case relating to Bopaiah. This is your convenient argument. Now I ask you, Tehseen Poonawala, since you're so concerned about Dalits, pro-tem speaker to 2 दिन का post hai. Make him the face of UDF in 2026 and make him the LOP. Make him the LOP. हमारा तो PDA OBC Prime Minister है. आप दलित को बनाओ ना LOP.
Then go across to other spokespersons.
Can I just answer that in 1 second?
Yeah, very quickly.
Just 1 second. Just one line answer. Just one line answer.
Pro-tem speaker.
Kharge ji, who's a Dalit leader, is the LOP in the Rajya Sabha, and K. Sureji, I'm saying this, will have as the LOP in Rajya Sabha, and K. Sureji will have the most important role in the Kerala elections. Mark my words, K. Sureji will be leading the campaign. But now you tell me why you anti-Dalit.
Okay.
That's
Kharge
ji already is the LOP in Rajya
One line.
Sabha.
Tehseen, why haven't you spoken about the Tamil Nadu 56 Dalits who lost their lives, Rahul Gandhi? Don't Dalit lives matter?
I'm sorry?
You will be sorry.
Why haven't you taken action in Gujarat where
this is the best thing they can come up with?
So many people died. Why haven't you taken action? I think Rahul Gandhi and Modi ji both should speak. I think Rahul Gandhi ji and Modi ji both should speak.
All right.
I think Rahul Gandhi ji and Modi ji both should speak.
Okay, let's take this one by one. Raju P. Nair is spokesperson of the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee. Raju P. Nair, here you have a situation where a state leader, Mr. Suresh, has not been made pro-tem speaker. The BJP says that there is a convention to the otherwise because it's not a continuous consecutive term, it's a broken tenure. The question over here is this. Here you have, of course, Tehseen Poonawala, who, supports the Congress party, is not an official spokesperson, who says that he will have an important post. How do you look at this entire debate? Raju P. Nair.
See, whether Kodikudil Suresh will have an important post or whether he should be the LOP is not that matter here. The problem is that the pro-tem speaker, it is you can call it an ornamental post, but then a transition happens between two Lok Sabhas under the watch of the pro-tem speaker. And there are some conventions and some constitutional provisions to be followed, and also it follows the decorum. Now the problem is the BJP has said that this decorum does not matter. It is our supreme leader's command that will happen. Now this supreme leader's command was put for test in the last Lok Sabha election. I'm very happy that Narendra Modi ji is now talking about the constitution and how it has to be respected and everything. This is the same person who called Rahul Gandhi Samvidhan sar pe rakhe naachne wala. When we made the election issue, the protection of constitution as an election issue, the same guy had said that Rahul Gandhi is dancing with the constitution on his head. It is very nice to see for a congressman like me to now Narendra Modi has started to respect the constitution. Now just one word for Tehseen Poonawala. You have joined BJP very late. Maybe that is why you don't have real knowledge about the RSS stand in the emergency. Do you know that in November 1976, Sar Sanghchalak of RSS, Devras had written several letters to Indira Gandhi for compromise in the fight against emergency? Do you know that in December 1976,
May I answer this?
Sri Vajpayee had called Om Mehta to his residence?
Sir, since you've asked your question, have you asked your question? No, may I answer?
No, let me complete.
Okay, let him make his point. Okay, quickly complete, Raju Nair. Quickly complete your question.
Why are you so worked up? Please hear my question.
No personal commentary. One second. No personal commentary from all sides.
Question, but if you want to add on, you add on. Rahul Gandhi is also usually adding on only.
Okay, 1 second.
Why is he heckling every person? Why is he heckling every person in the debate? Let me complete.
Nobody is heckling you, sir. Please complete your point. Yeah.
It was A.B. Vajpayee who had called Om Mehta to his residence and worked for an agreement with Indira Gandhi to save himself from emergency. For that, he had even asked the ABVP leader in Gujarat who led the Ram Nirman movement to apologize for the strikes which happened in Gujarat. Do you know this history? Do you know this history?
Okay.
And after 2 years,
Raju Nair,
21 months of emergency, it was Srimati Indira Gandhi herself who had restored democracy in this country.
Okay, Raju Nair.
Even influencing the
Raju Nair, let's not go down that road. Mistakes have been made and have been acknowledged by the Congress party. That's another point altogether. But restoring democracy, etc., I think we don't want to go down. But since there's a pointed question asked about the RSS writing into Indira Gandhi, I want you to respond to that since your name has been taken. Shehzad Poonawala, Pattabhiram Komareddy, just coming to you. Just coming to you, Pattabhiram Komareddy. Just sorry.
Now, Mr. Nair, if you can hold on to your horses and listen to the other side. Mr. Nair, since you have quoted but you have not shown any document of the RSS writing to Indira Gandhi, that means you are saying that Mulayam Singh Yadav, who opposed the emergency, was wrong. JP, who opposed the emergency, was wrong. So now Ghanshyam Tiwari tell us if Mulayam Singh Yadav was right or JP was right in opposing the emergency. Now who's heckling? Mr. Nair, now who's heckling? Mr. Nair, who's heckling
Mr.
now?
Nair, no, one second.
Raju Nair,
Raju Nair, one second. Shehzad, one second. Raju Nair, we gave you got an unbroken turn. Mr. Nair, you got a turn to speak. Mr. Nair, please be a little patient. Show some decorum. Show some decorum, Mr. Nair. You got your turn to speak. I did not allow any interruptions when you spoke. Please extend the same courtesy. Shehzad.
His voice
Mr. Nair,
is constantly interrupting. Now, on the basis of what Mr. Nair has said, I direct my question at Ghanshyam Tiwari. If the emergency, as Mr. Nair claims, is so good, was Mulayam Singh Yadav and JP wrong in opposing it? And Ghanshyam, for a change, take the question by the horns and answer it. You haven't answered about the 58 deaths. You haven't answered about Bengal. At least answer this. Your Congress leader is saying emergency was a great thing.
Good job.
Well, my answer will quote an author. The title is called Hitler Modified. And the author says that hint 1, one-man party. Hint 2, emergency as a panacea for all else. This man who calls Mr. Modi as Hitler, Desi Hitler, is right here in the panelists.
What was Akhilesh calling Congress 3 months ago?
When we talk about
why aren't we on the debate?
Don't interrupt.
Ghanshyam, respond to the specifics. No, get into the details. What are you saying?
No, I'm saying that the man who calls Mr. Modi as Desi Hitler.
What did Akhilesh call Congress 3 months ago?
Why now confused?
What did Akhilesh call Congress 3 months ago?
One by one.
But why is this debate on me?
No. What is the point? Ghanshyam, make your point clearly.
My point is, the man who calls Mr. Modi as Desi Hitler is confused about emergency. The nation is not confused. The nation knows that emergency was a blot. Was a blot on democracy. Whether it is blot by
Ghanshyam, you've been asked this question several times. You've not responded. It's okay. You can attack a panelist as long as your language is okay, but in terms of it being politically correct. But let's quickly bring in Pattabhiram Komareddy. Pattabhiram Komareddy, simple question is this. At this point of time, the opposition says that parliamentary conventions are not being followed. There are questions about whether in the past also they've been, not followed by this particular government. How do you respond to that? And are you, as an ally of this government, hopeful for the Speaker's post still?
Madhav, as far as the issue of Pro-tem Speaker is concerned, my friend Shehzad had given enough clarity and he had quoted many instances in the past where, conventions were violated by the Congress. And to your second question, we don't have any demand from our party side for the Speaker's post. So it is completely the freedom of the Honorable Prime Minister and to make the right choice. And today, Madhav, I would like to make a few comments on the drama that had happened in the parliament today, especially, the India Alliance holding the Indian constitution in their hands and doing some kind of natakbazi. What is wrong in reminding the emergency when it is completing 50 years? 100 बार ने 1000 बार बात करना Madhav, emergency के बारे में. And not just emergency. Look at who's holding the Indian Constitution today. The party which had misused the Indian Constitution, articles in the Indian Constitution. Article 356 was misused 90 times by the Congress to dismiss the opposition governments. What moral right do they have to hold the Indian Constitution? And Rahul ji ke nani, Indira ji ne to 50 baar misuse kiya Article 356 ko. And even we are victims. We are victims of Indira ji. Our government in 1984, NTR's government in 1984 was dismissed unconstitutionally by Indira Gandhi, and today they are holding the Indian Constitution. She had misused Article 356 19 times between 1970 and 74, 8 times between 67 and 69. And what moral right do they have today?
Okay.
And who are the people? And Madhav, 1 point.
Yeah, quickly.
And who are the people who have brought in MISA, Maintenance of Internal Security Act? Why did they bring MISA? Did Congress did not bring MISA to suppress the opposition?
Okay.
Is MISA constitutional?
Just one small factual correction that Indira Gandhi was the Dadi and not the Nani as you mentioned. But Raju P. Nair.
And also finally, are they not responsible to block the father of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, from entering the Indian Parliament?
I want Raju Nair to respond to that. Raju Nair,
defeat Ambedkar ji.
as a spokesperson of the Congress party, I want you to respond to the TDP spokesperson.
And today they all
Please respond to him.
One thing is,
Mr. Komareddy, you made a number of points. Let's get a response, please. Yes.
Now, Article 352 and Article 356. Article 352 for the emergency and 356 was used not misused. Misuse might be the interpretation.
Have you heard it? One second. No, Mr. Raju Nair. No, Mr. Raju Nair. Mr. Raju Nair, listen to me. This is Madhavdas. Just listen to my question. Since you said something extremely controversial, please bear with me, Mr. Raju Nair. Listen to my question. Have you heard of Article 359(1)? Raju Nair, listen to my question. Have you heard of Article 359(1)?
From the Supreme
Raju Nair, please calm down and listen to my question. Mr. Raju Nair, this is not a political speech. This is not an area to make a political speech. I am asking you a simple question. Article 359(1), where no one could move the courts for enforcement of Article 14, 19 and 21. What do you call that?
To take almost 1/3 of that time.
Mr. Raju Nair, answer the question, the specific question I'm making. You have to be factually correct here. You have to be factually correct.
No, it is factually correct.
Have you heard of Article 359(1) then?
Of opinion on whether 350.
You said that it was used and not misused. What is 359(1)? If basic freedoms protected under 14, 19 and 21 cannot be challenged in courts of law, what is that if it's not misused?
See, I am saying Article 356 is a provision in the Indian Constitution. It was used. Now, whether it was misused or not, that is the political interpretation of the party.
Sir, a democratically elected government is dismissed and you say it is used and not misused.
Use a provision of the Constitution.
My God.
There were many reasons
Thanks
to
for the
do
confession.
BJP had discussed
Thanks for the confession.
Okay.
Was it not challenged?
Mr. Komaredi, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I would only like to say, I would like to thank my friend from the Congress for confessing that they have used Article 356 on national television today to dismiss opposition party governments. Thank you for your confession.
And I just have one line.
Okay.
One line. What Mr. Raju Nair has said, he can't be constantly interrupting. What Mr. Nair has said is that the national emergency applied by Indira was actually the use of a provision. It was nothing wrong. Ab batao Ghanshyam ji, you attacked me. Ab bataiye. Again you'll go into personal attack. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Okay.
Personal attack.
Ghanshyam, quick response. 10 seconds. Almost out of time.
10 seconds. In 10 seconds, if people want to save democracy, constitution, elections and India's spirit of unity, they will reject Modi. To the TDP spokesperson, this is what N. Chandrababu Naidu has written.
To specifics.
This is what N. Chandrababu has written.
Ghanshyam, you are entitled to your opinion. Unfortunately today,
to choose an opportunistic line is fine. But he must not forget.
All right, that's all the time we have. That's all the time we have. Shehzad Poonawala, Pattabhiram Komaredi, Ishkaran Bhandari, Tehseen Poonawala, Raju Nair, Ghanshyam Tiwari. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Just who is undermining the Constitution? I think this debate would have perhaps opened a lot of eyes on that.